What's going on, everybody? It's Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord, and we are packing it in for Friday. We are going to cruise into the weekend, but only after we have our weekly dose of the Michael Zuber from One Rental at a Time. Mike, how is it going, my man?
Oh, it's every day Saturday, man. Every day Saturday for me. So I live a pretty good life.
Yeah, we get it. Financial freedom. Yeah. We know that's the message. Yeah.
You asked.
Yeah. So you can take naps and, and walks in the afternoon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mike Zuber's card says, I like to wake up whenever I want, go to sleep whenever I want, take naps whenever I want, and take a walk whenever I want. So
Done.
It's a good life. It's a good life. So
it's a good life. I recommend it for everyone.
Yeah. Hey, that's what the book's about, right? You follow that to a T and you end up in the same place. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today is just this absurd mindset of all of these numbers and taxes being raised and fees being raised and costs being raised, and helping people really understand, because I think that a lot of people really don't get it. The cost and all of these, crazy things that are going on out there in the market, capital gains going from 20 to 39, all these silly, absurd, crazy things. I wanted to just have a real, like we do, have a real conversation about that, because I think that a lot of people really don't understand that that's the stuff that leads to collapses, right?
Yeah. I mean, I thought about this actually based on a conversation we had last week. And the reality is, it might be easy. It might be sexy to target the 1%, the rich, the wealthy, whatever you want to say, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, AOC, whatever if you want to attack someone because it gets you likes or views or whatever, that's great. But realize that the person you're attacking has a counter move, right? You're making an attack or in chess, right? And they're going to get to move back. So here's the deal, right? I've been lucky enough in life to get somewhere, and I know lots of people who are investors and doing quite well. We've talked, right? We've had conversations, and
just a few.
The deal is all of these are proposals first, right? We certainly think these are negotiations. So we're willing to sit back and see where it lies. But all of them have said, if all three of these real estate taxes go away or punitive, they're going to do two things. So first, let's talk about what they are. So first off is raising capital gains from 20 to 39. That's crazy. Insane. I'm in California. My tax rate would be 53 or 54%. Then there is the loss of the 1031 exchange, or significantly reducing the use of it for real estate. And then there's the stepped up basis, right? It's kind of taking away goodies from real estate. So those are the things. And if all of those happen, everyone I have talked to will do two things and do two things immediately. First, they are just hold assets.
That's right.
All of these taxes, all of these punitive things, tax transactions.
That's right.
And if you don't want to get hit with capital gains, don't sell.
That's right.
So what is going to happen first and foremost is we are going to see transaction volumes fall off a cliff.
Agreed.
Second, we are going to see the single family home, the residential properties explode in higher prices, because we are not doing the traditional one rental at a time plan. We are not buying an affordable house, fixing it up, selling it, and 1031ing into apartments. That's what I did. I went from 8 houses to 80 units because of the 1031 exchange. And oh, by the way, I bought junk. So again, what is going to happen is these kind of small 5s to 20s that the big boys don't play in, they're just going to fall into disarray because the only way they made sense is, I went in, fixed them up, and I invested somewhere between 30 and 50% of purchase price, making them quality that I'm happy with. I won't do that in the future. I will just compete in the single family housing market. I will buy more single family homes because you're only taxing me on the exit.
Yep.
And dude, I'm just going to sit tight. I'm going to sit tight. And then the other thing that's going to happen is you can't force me to do anything with my cash.
That's right.
You can't. I am going to change my risk profile. I'm going to change my variables, and I'm going to sit tight for 6 or 9 months and see what kind of wackiness and unintended consequences all these rules changes have. I've been pretty busy the last 14 months. I might take the next 14 months off and, just be low key. So, I feel bad for people that are trying to buy affordable houses. I'm just not going to sell. I've told everybody the last year, my intention is to buy 20 to 40 single family homes, and then I'll 1031 out into small apartments. Guess what? If these things go through, I will just keep the houses. Just that
Exactly.
simple. So
it's really, people need to understand that policy, and this is largely what they try to influence, right? Is that with the different carrots or with the different, whack-a-mole sticks that they use, they're trying to create a certain behavior. And the problem with that is that if somebody has to sell, then that's the behavior. So you're going to end up stressing an already stressed sale because they're forced to sell for whatever reason. The issue for us largely is when things get really expensive, and notice I'm not saying this market's expensive, because it really isn't. If you look at a lot of the numbers, this market really isn't that expensive. It's still in the top 10 as far as cheapest markets to buy in our history based on the math. So based on that, we're still buying, but we don't have to sell. We're buy and hold, guys. We're not trying. What happens for me when numbers start to get nuts and they start to talk about these crazy taxes and all these fees, and getting guys on site is now 4 to 6 weeks out or 8 weeks out, and they won't guarantee a quote because of the cost of the material is so nuts. Guess what I do? I just stop flipping. I stop putting bad product, buying bad product, fixing it up and putting it on the market. That's what I do. I just stop doing that. That slows things down. And the problem is that it slows it down for the middle class. It slows it down for the electricians, for the plumbers, for the sheetrockers, for the flooring guys, for the tilers, for the, for the siding guys, for the roofers. It slows it down for all of them, because at this point, there's no price elasticity. At that point, it's like, okay, now it's snapped. I'm not going to do anything for a while.
Yeah. So, not a lot of people look back to the Great Depression, right? It's a term that we've all heard, but not a lot of people go back and look at that decade, nine or 10 years. But one of the things that happened during that decade, I think it was year 6 or 7, a lot of policies changed just like these.
That's right.
And the rich went on strike.
That they did.
The rich just pulled back and said, whoa, things are changing. We don't know what's going on. We're just not going to do anything. Because again, food goes up in the grocery store, or gas goes up. It doesn't impact the rich. They're going to still live their lives. They're going to still eat steak and lobster and all that stuff. It doesn't matter. But they're going to stop doing productive work. So the electricians, the roofers, the painters, they're all going to get hit. We're just going to stop. We're going to do little maintenance things, and we'll do our turnovers when they happen. But I don't know what you spent last year, but I spent north of 500 grand on remodels last year.
Yeah, right around that.
I won't do that next year. Nope. I just won't do it. And that'll impact dozens of people directly.
Yeah. And what I try and do, because we use a lot of the same contractors over and over again, is I try and give them a heads up. I do the best that I can to just say, hey, listen, I know a lot of this is material, but because I know a lot of it's material, lumber is up 373% this year in the last 12 months. Why on God's green earth would I ever buy something or do a project that is electable when the cost is 400%, 4x what it used to be? I just wouldn't.
Nope.
I just wouldn't. It just doesn't make sense. Nope. And the one thing that you should count on is that most buy and hold landlords are pretty decent business guys. Pretty good with spreadsheets.
Yeah. I mean, if you've been doing it if you're doing it certainly more than 2 or 3 years. Yeah. This is, I really do think the rich are going to go on strike. I don't know what else to call it. I think the rich go on strike. And is that strike 90 days, 6 months, a year, 4 years, right? How long is Biden in office? 3.5 more years?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be more than 3 months. I don't know. It's frankly scary to think about.
It is.
It is. And again, I'm happy to say these are proposals, but we have to plan for the worst case scenario, or at least that's what I do. And then I'm surprised if it's better. And right now I'm going on strike.
We don't talk, and that's, I mean, that's, big news. I'm largely in the same spot. I mean, any of the stuff that I'm doing is pretty minimal. We're not undertaking any major stuff right now. We're doing kind of minimal stuff, painting and things like that. And it's just, a lot of the other stuff just doesn't make sense because
Well, and let's be clear, rents are going to go up next year.
Yep.
I mean, the rents on our units, I don't know about your portfolio, but across the board, I'm sure they'll be up 5 to 12%, somewhere in there.
So across our portfolio, what we kind of look at is we were up over the entire portfolio. Our portfolio was up just about 9%. 9%.
And again, if that happens next year, you're not going to be upset.
Nope. And here's the thing, this year, it was because there was a ton of expenses. It won't be that because it won't be that next year. Next year, a lot of those expenses are baked in. And even with the property tax, it's kind of like, it's just
falls to the bottom line.
People need to make sure that they're paying attention to this, because the good news is the contractor you're looking for will likely be available.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. I mean, I remember, you and I were buying in 9, 10, and 11. And do we ever get told I can be there in a week or two? No, they were there like that afternoon or that next morning saying, let me take a look at the job. And if we can do it, we'll start right away. That's how it was in 9, 10, and 11. And I don't want that for the guys that I've helped them grow their business over the last few years. But I have a business to run as well. And, with copper wire, even copper, with copper wire being 2x what it was just 6 months ago, there were some electrical upgrades that were great upgrades and things that we want to do in some houses, but we're not going to do them because literally it's 2x the price, 3x the price. And so I think that's coming. So Mike, any other closing thoughts on this one?
No, I would just say, pay attention. We are going to have less for sale and we're going to have less purchases. It's going to be interesting. It always is. It's always interesting.
It is, because you can never figure out exactly how it's going to fall apart. You just know it's somehow going to fall apart. So you just start trying to piece the things together is really the challenge that you have. So Mike, where can everybody find you, my man?
Go to your Google search bar and type in One Rental at a Time. You should find a book, a YouTube channel, Instagram page, website, all that good stuff.
It's all good, folks. Guys, thanks so much. Mike, thanks so much for taking the time with us today. Make sure to check Mike out on One Rental at a Time. And we're coming back for a really strong segment 2. Don't miss it. And please, guys, take the time to subscribe. We want to continue to create awesome content for you. And so by you subscribing, that helps that happen. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.